Boom, we're live. I came in a little early just because Trevor was impatient. He was like, let's go. Let's go. Let's get in here already. How you doing, Trevor? Good to see you in here. Lickety split. So here's a little rundown of what we will be talking about. I'm going to keep it at 30 minutes. I've got a bus that'll be dropping a kid off here soon. So we're going to talk about the live wrap-up show tomorrow. That will be Saturday, what is it, the 15th, at 11 CDT. That live first show I'm doing tomorrow, I'm doing two lives tomorrow, is going to be just open chat about the Twilight 2000 first season / campaign that I ran. 35 episodes long, and I'll just chat about that unique experience. Hopefully people show up, ask questions. I'm going to have to do this again. Goodness. And we'll cover that in that first 11 minutes. T-Mon's in. All right. And then I've got to keep that show at 45 minutes, or I plan on keeping it 45 because Judd and Greg, HAMTAG, baby, the OG, or as Greg says, the OH. The OH is going to be over at this house on set, filmed like this. Well, different camera. Trying to use my other camera here. And we're going to do a HAMTAG. But before we record a top 5, which is going to be called, or is called, the top 5 games of the pestilence. Hello. Can't say the other word, gets you demonetized. I think pestilence is still in. Sounds historical. But before we film that, which will not be done live, that one I'll edit and get it together, and it takes a while. But before we do that, at 12:45, we're going to go live for about 30 minutes with a HAMTAG Q&A, question and answer. Now, maybe there's very few. Who knows? But we got the OGs or the OHs. We've got the original HAMTaggers on set. So I threw out there, hey, I know we're going to film, but how do you feel about just doing a little live? Maybe 2,000 people show up to ask questions, or maybe 2. Who knows? But I've put the word out there. So let's see. What do we got here? What is Trevor saying? Top 5 games of Operation MK Ultra 2.0. Right. So I am right now enjoying a little Rampur. That's Indian whiskey from India. Very nice. So I'm enjoying that. Now, the other thing I'm going to talk about, I may even try one today, is I'm going to be filming a few more of my OSR. That's original, old school Renaissance, kind of think original Dungeons and Dragons, although that's not the setting here. It's that simple 20-sided die, quick setup, very dangerous for your characters. This is in kind of a Bastion Land, the city, almost like a haunted, not quite horror. I'm playing it as just an odd locale. And I put out one just to play it. It's a guy that's wants to be a Viking, and he's got a couple little friends, these twins that are helping him out, and we'll be playing around with this setting. Very nice book. It was a little zine, kind of like this one, which I'll talk about here in a second, but they got with Free League out of Sweden, and they did this very nice bounded with a little ribbon that you can't see because mine was fraying, edition called Remastered, and this is by Chris McDowell. Very cool, very quick, very free-form setup and play. So I'll be doing some of these, and we'll talk about any in a second. Let me see some of these comments that are coming in. Kabuki Kid is in. Trevor, my 3 favorite people, Chief, T-Mon, and KK. Love it. Love it. There's a lot of hellos flying around. What has Kabuki got here? I just bought Old School Essentials Advanced Fantasy, cool version, sort of a D&D BX mixed with some AD&D first edition elements. Wow, you're in the deep end. I'm just still in a little kiddie pool swimming around. I love it though. I understood, I think, half of that, but I'm loving it. I'm really enjoying using Mythic emulator. And there was a weird deal, by the way. Judd has this, what was it, an old Vietnam or Ranger game or something that was role-playing game, but he wants to play it. He said he had some rules, and I thought he was talking about the game. This military game had rules. And then he sends me a picture of the blue-covered Mythic emulator. My white balance is all messed up. I look blue. I keep resetting it, and there it goes again. It won't stay. So we'll just deal with it, and I'll be blue. It's like a Blue Man show. And he sent me that Mythic emulator shot, and I said, dude, that's what I'm using for all my play, and it works great. Tanya Pigeon writes those, and I'm all in. I'm buying every supplement I can of this Mythic emulator. I really like how it works, and it focuses on answering questions you don't know and then giving you these hooks, these subject tie-ins, subject noun that you just make it apply to what you're doing, whatever makes sense. And boy, did I enjoy it. Boy. Let's see what else is on here. Blue Bart. Yeah, I know. Look at this. And I've many times it'll start to do it. Look at that. You see my notes, and then whoop, gone again. I don't know why it's doing this. Matter of fact, I'm trying to use the camera on my laptop because it was giving me better 1080p than my nice expensive one I was getting. It's very frustrating. Very frustrating. Let's see. What do we got? Sounds like a pirate name. Chief Singing the Blues. That's right. So let's talk any. So Charlie Ward, living in Japan. I don't know if it's expat. I always want to say expatriate, but he's English or from Great Britain. I guess I don't know where he's from Great Britain. I was thinking, hey, there's my color. Thanks to this white balance worked. Any is a game that Charlie just put out, and it just arrived 2 days ago, that he was playing with his son as he drove him to school. And he would have his son also journal what their experience was. So he was working on his creativity and his writing. Genius. Way to go, Charlie. Love it. But this is a neat concept. So you start with like a 20-sided die, a 12-sided die, 10, 8, 6, and a 4. And when you want to achieve something that you need to roll for, you have to pick one of these die and roll them. And you need to get at least a 4 to succeed. So you could roll your 20-sided die and have a great chance, but still roll a 1. Interesting. And when you roll that die, it's spent and comes off, and you can only get it back by doing a full rest. You can do short rests and get more of those D4s back, but obviously you only have a 25% chance of succeeding. So I'll play with that system being a little bit interesting. I like the idea that you spin your dice, and you could roll a 20-sided die and come up very unlucky. There's a few other things in here. There's little any points. Think of like fate. What are they called in fate? When you do something very interesting, or the GM or whatever compels you to do something, they'll give you a fate point or a fate token. And you can use those for various things in the game. Same with any. It can give you little bonuses or extra dice or things like this. But what I wanted to use for this setting, these rules in a unique setting, I guess I should be more clear, is that I've had this idea. So I do critical incident stress management. I run the team for my police department. So if an officer is exposed to something, could be tragic death, or they're shot, or they're injured, or they're in a shooting, or whatever, my team's activated. And it's heavy on peer support. We're not clinicians. But of course, we go through some training and know some different things. But I thought on a realm, I kind of like the idea that I could use any dice system. But the premise would be that, and the Mythic emulator system, that I don't know it's almost like I'm what was I calling it? A shamanic counselor. So now I'll come up with some completely false and fictitious. Maybe it's some kind of superpower. I don't know. I don't want to tie it into anything, even though I know John Hopkins, Dr. Griffith is doing great work with PTSD and cancer patients with psilocybin. I'm not going to tie it into that just because of the job work related stuff. But I want to go into like an astral plane kind of, and the game using these any rules will be whatever the character I'm playing going into, let's just say the astral plane, and assisting this person that's suffering with some type of, whether it's PTSD or bipolar or whatever. And the key is I won't know what it is. That'll all be handled by the Mythic emulator. But imagine part of this stems from, I always thought, wow, wouldn't it be cool if you could actually get inside somebody's head and figure out what's going wrong, and then help, literally do the heavy lifting, not just the talking and the listening, which is fine. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to do it with any. So I will be trying that. Now, it may completely fail, but I'll do at least one show with the any rules and that premise, and we'll see if it works, if it's entertaining. And I could even picture maybe people say you shouldn't play a game with people that are suffering from stuff. Well, I just played a game with Evil Twilight 2000, which was a post-apocalyptic Poland. So I'll give it a shot. The idea being that I'm not treating it insensitively. Matter of fact, it stems from the wish that not my superpower is not that I wish I could leap tall buildings and fly and speeding bullet and all that. It's just that you could literally somehow get in and physically help when someone's going through some type of mental distress. So that is my concept for any. Where am I at on time? Good, 12 minutes. Kabuki Kid, just hold that zine up the entire stream. Yes, I know. I need to just right here. And will it do it? How come now it won't even? Maybe I was closer and still nothing. Why is it doing it? It's like this weird camera day. I don't know what's going on. Hey, it could be the shirt. Let's be honest. The shirt maybe is freaking out the computer chip and saying, I don't know what color to go with. Hello from Sweden. It's Magnus von Magnuson here. Long time no see. Now at work on a break. Sweet. Great to have you, Magnus. I just love saying your name. I literally used to watch, they would have like strongman contest on. And we're talking 15 years ago. I was working a late shift, so I'd get home, couldn't sleep. And there was literally a Magnus von Magnuson. And he was a mountain of a man, sir. He was strong and would pick up boulders and do all kinds of things. And I was like, my goodness, no wonder those Nordlanders were so scary when they attacked. If they had just a couple Magnuses with them. You broke it. Yes. Let's see. Everybody is greeting the Magnus as he comes in. Very nice. Well, some of my core folks here, what do you guys think of me delving into these role-playing games? I think it's going to be positive, even if you don't maybe particularly like each one or whatever theme I'm playing through. But I'm curious on your thoughts. I'm finding it extremely fun and creative, and in a certain way, liberating, because I've always had a good imagination to the point that when I'm playing tactical war games and such, that I can kind of almost see the battlefield as if I was actually there, even though I'm moving counters on a map. And I found it to be quite interesting that I'm back into role playing after being gone from it for probably 30 years. Yeah. So that's interesting. And then wishing I'd been in it sooner. But I've been playing board games since I was 13. So let's see. What do we got? I like the expansion. I don't watch it all, but I found it interesting. Okay, good. I also enjoyed doing the lives with Dan and Ron. Dan ended up getting a job, different time, hours and stuff, and it messed up the flow. Not his fault. We always say family first, work before games, family before work. So no problem at all. It just, once we were out of the cycle, you guys know how it goes. If you got a cycle going and then it gets disrupted, well, I just keep driving forward. So I'll just pick it up and keep moving forward. But I've had a couple commenters, fans say, hey, what about that live show with Dan and Ron? Is that going to come back? Yeah. I've got to figure out a time when they're in, and I've got all my Twilight 2000 stuff packed away right now as I'm getting ready to shift into the odd and any. And I've got some other OSR stuff I want to play. And so Death in Space, I've got an idea for. Also Free League doing their Free League workshop, where they're taking some zines and kind of producing them up. Sounds like you are having fun, and that's all that matters. Yeah, I agree 100%, Timon. That's exactly where I'm coming from. And I've always found that if I'm enjoying what I'm doing, it kind of carries through for the show. Doesn't mean every viewer is going to enjoy that segment, but I've caught some new viewers. I had a little dip for a while, and then it started coming back up. As you know, some folks I think are all board games, no role playing. I've now caught a few bit of role players coming in, but they're probably not watching my board game stuff. So having Judd, actually, I was talking to Judd, said, hey, you want to come over and do a show? And he was like, yeah. And then he reached out to Greg, and Greg was like, yeah. So we'll have that original crew back together right here tomorrow. And like I said, just for time purposes, we're going to open. They're going to get here, have about 15 minutes to kind of settle in. Then we're going to do our live 30 minutes. And then once that live is over, we're going to just off non-live film a top five games of the Pestilence. And then that'll get edited and probably come out in a couple weeks. So that should be, well, not should be, I know that'll be fun. So that's what's going on, and the whole purpose of this vlog. So Trevor, so we all know your son is awesome RPGer. Any RPG with him in the future? Yeah. Well, I'll have to see if he wants to come on. What's funny is I've got coworkers coming over. We're doing a Fate core system on a thing we made up. It's time travel, and it goes back historically. And in this one, we're going back because someone, and I've had this group over here a few times, then we had about 2 months off, and they're coming back Sunday. And I'm running it, and there's 4 of them, and it's without going into too much detail, they basically sit out of time, and they're time watchers, and someone has prevented the assassination of Abraham Lincoln. And it's completely messed up the timeline. They know this because they sit out of it, and their job as part of the I can't remember the name we have, the TTP, Temporal Time Police or something. They go back and will write and put time back where it should be. So in a cool, odd twist, they actually have to make sure Lincoln is assassinated, which is cool because these guys, most of these guys like Lincoln. I think all of them do, history-wise, but because they have to preserve the timeline, they're going to have to figure out how the timeline got shifted, which they're in the process of doing now, and eventually make sure that John Wilkes Booth, or one of them, if necessary, make sure that Lincoln is assassinated. So it's kind of this cool little twist, but I'm not that good at running 4 people. I think I'm doing okay. But I wish I was a better GM for that. But that's fun. And we've been doing that. Whether or not he'll come on the show, I don't know. He's really trying to get his own show up and running, which he has been doing for he's had a channel for a while. Let's see. What is this? Sean, you enjoying it at first. We'll watch if we're interested. But if you don't love it, you'll burn out on it. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. Let's see. Win. Shoot, I don't know which one the win is. Win what? The HAMTAGger is tomorrow at 12:45 Central Daylight Savings Time. The live wrap up on the Evil Twilight 2000 is at 11 a.m. So they'll be close together, but I'll have all my setup up. Let me see if I can catch up here. Hey, Sean, howdy. Here we go. Sounds like Chrononauts, an old card game. I never played that. I think I've heard of it. My boy and I love talking time travel stuff, and which shows kind of get it right, or which ones seem, where's the problem. The problem is always the time itself, because the first thing we came into, of course, was if anybody shoots anybody, well, that could disrupt the time. So what it does is kind of keeps them from getting into a shootout with everybody, because they could become the elements of their own time change, and they can get in trouble with their people that send them if they're too gun happy. Never played Chrononauts either. So let's see, where are we at? 20 minutes. Cool. Woo! So that's what's been going on. So it's been a little busy, but fun. It's that fun busy. I got to clean up a little over here because I was shooting a bunch of whiskey stuff. Scotch Test Dummies, if you guys don't know, that's the other show that you kind of see behind. I got to clean that up, have everything ready, and then we'll be popping tomorrow. Should be fun. So let's see. What else? Work-wise, they're working on getting a brand new chief. So that's kind of interesting. I don't always hang on that too much, because I, as a sergeant, am obviously not picking the chief, and whoever the chief ends up being, I will work for them. So, it is what it is. So it's always interesting when they hire someone from the outside, though. Being here 27 years, Wichita Police Department, all the folks that have been here for a long period of time. So you kind of know, them. When someone comes in that you don't know, you're kind of like, uh-oh, what does this person expect? What do they want? If you make a joke, does that make them mad? If it does, I'll probably be in trouble. Hello, room. Vorpal is in. Everyone's saying hello, Vorpal. Hello, room. So, that's about it. What was real cool was Charlie Ward. He put up any, which, by the way, looks like 1, 2, 3 as well. If you look at it, that's clearly like a 1, 2, 3, I think, that he turned into any ENI. The guy, I don't know what he does for a living. Some kind of creative programming artist. I don't know. I really don't know what Charlie does. But I had him on for a live where we talked about his Kickstarter for any. And that was really fun to get that back and forth. And then I just did like a little display of it, a little hello of it. And he sent me some extra copies. And when I get into playing this, I'll do a live eventually and do a giveaway to someone that's viewing. I'll have to figure out what that is. But he says, hey, you mind if I send you a couple of extras and you can do a giveaway? And I said, that sounds awesome. So we'll be doing that. Charles Ward, the football player. No, not Charlie Ward there. This is Charlie Ward, the game designer, both role-playing and some board games. Lives in Japan. I can't remember what's the city he's in? I can't remember off the top of my head, but he lives in Japan. And we did a live show that was really cool. So that is the beauty of where the time we live in. This tech and having a channel like this, the ability to connect with all of you, to connect with designers, to connect with other players. When I was playing with Ron and Pancaldi, what I want to do as well, although I'll have to get geared up, is I've still got right boot Ron, the navigator, flying that B-17 with the big boot hanging next to him, kind of role-playing that out. I need to jump into that at some point as well and play that until the plane crew makes 25 missions, or it doesn't. What game did Charlie create? Charlie, I can't remember his other ones, but any is his role-playing game. And if you go to Exist, I think it is that his? I think it is EXIST. I guess I don't have it here. It's on the packaging, but that's his company. And if you look up any ENI, I think you'll find it. So What is any about? So any is a zine. It's a set of rules. You put your system to it. So whatever you want to play, but the key for any is you are using your dice as if they're once you use one of your dice, you've got to roll a 4. Well, there's my nice color again. You've got to roll a 4, but you spend a die to do it. And when you're all out of dice in your dice pool, you have to rest to get your dice back. So it's designed to be a light, simple, fun system, but you're not just rolling and rolling up stats, the dice that you are given. So if you're some kind of expert, whatever, you might actually have 3 20-sided dice. So you would have a little bit more of those higher percentage dice to roll, but once you're out of them, you can't just re-roll them. You only have those 3, and then maybe you have a 10, an 8, a couple 6s, and 2 4s. Well, once you've exhausted and rolled all those dice, you can do a short rest and get back that 4-sided die. So that's pretty easy. Or you lose your dice and you're knocked out. So, or you're exhausted. Or in mine, the setting I'm going to use it for is, again, imagine a shamanic counselor. And so that'll be an exhaustion and whatever the mode of, maybe it'll be hypnosis that the person was in that allowed me to travel in with them to some kind of astral plane and help them with their problem. Yes, it sounds weird and kooky. That's what I like about it. And we'll see how that works. Sci-fi, it can be anything, Vorpal. It could be surviving a shark attack. It could be whatever you wanted. It's more of a system rather than a setting. Actually, it is a system and not a setting. You apply your setting with this system rules. Yes, it could be fantasy. You could do that. So you can do anything you want. You're just using your dice as the things you spend, and you have very few of them. And I'm going to play around with this. I'm sure he'll be making probably refinements to the system as well. You have challenges and you could be affected and you're resting, and there could be teamwork, and you can have great success. You can get any rewards, which allow you to get dice back out of the pool after they're spent. So we will play with that. You'll have to watch that to see how it works. I actually haven't played a game of it yet, so I can barely explain it. 27 minutes. We got 2 minutes left. I would do a Vietnam War. Yeah, I know you would. I think you could be a great tunnel rat with this system. Bam. And yes, you could. If you ever see those 20-sided dice with multiple 20s, I think they're called cheaters. I would imagine they are. All right, we're down to 2 minutes, and we'll wrap it up. Anybody got any last-minute questions before I wrap up? Again, don't forget, tomorrow, 11 o'clock CDT, Central Daylight Savings Time, I'll be doing my live chat about my Evil Twilight 2000 Season 1. Should be fun. That'll run, I think I'm doing 45 minutes, I said. And then Greg and Judd, the original HAMTAGers, are going to be over here. And we're going to do a live Q&A at 12:45. They're getting here at 12:30, but 12:45 will go live for about probably 30 minutes. We'll see, And then after we're done with our live, we're going to film the top 5 games we played during the pestilence. And that'll be the surprise top 5 list. That part won't be live. We'll be filming that. I'll edit it and put that one out in a couple weeks. So everybody is, chat tomorrow afternoon. Looks good. Judd is doing well. So that part is also good. So let's see. I think we're good. I think we are good. I'll probably wrap up there at 29:40. 29:40. All right. See you guys tomorrow. It's going to be a fun, busy HAMTAGery time tomorrow. Woo! See you guys later. Bye-bye. Now I got to let her wind down with all that energy.